What's going on, everyone? Dottz Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you guys my updated add-on guide for the Elsweyr patch. I like to update this guide every single patch, every time I make changes to my add-ons, because I always get bombarded with questions about my user interface, whether it be on YouTube or Twitch. It's probably the thing that I get asked the most about, so I like to make sure that this guide is always kept super up to date. So I know you're going to notice that a lot of my add-ons are out of date, and at the moment they still kind of are. Elsweyr is still very, very new. So most of the add-on people have really not gotten a chance to update all their add-ons, but you know, those are coming out slowly, and from what I've noticed, all of the add-ons I have that are out of date are not really impacting my game's performance negatively. So we will be going over really quick all of my add-ons and what they do, as well as my add-on packs, and then the add-on and user interface settings. So if you want your UI set up just like mine, this guide will show you how to do it. So the first add-on that I use is Action Duration Reminder. That is the one that puts the cooldowns on my skills. As you can see, I use the Volatile Armor, and there's a ticking counter on it, or how long is left on the ability, and if I swap bars I can still see it above my health. Really helpful for buff tracking. We also have the Addon Selector, which allows me to make different packs of add-ons, so I can load and unload certain add-ons by selecting profiles. So for example, when I tank, I want certain add-ons enabled. When I'm in PvP, I want certain add-ons enabled. When I want Master Merchant, I want to obviously have certain add-ons enabled. So I just make different packs for different situations, and it's really helpful with, just like I said, loading and unloading add-ons. We also have Advanced Member Tooltip. If you are a guild master, this is extremely helpful for being a guild leader. It tells you how long someone has been in a guild, as well as any money that they've deposited or withdrawn. Really helpful for managing your guild. I use that for a lot of my ranks. We also have Assist Rapid Riding, which is exactly what it sounds like. If you have Rapids unlocked from the Assault skill line and you go onto your mount, it will automatically slot the skill in your 5th or slot if that's what you set it for. You can use Rapids, and then it will remove Rapids from your bar. Do be careful that if this does swap Rapids in right before you enter combat, and you enter combat, it will not be swapped off, so you will be stuck with Rapids on your bar, and I cannot tell you how many times that's happened to me in PvP, and I've died because of it. So just be really strategic with your use of Rapids, and maybe dismount early if you feel that you're going to get into combat. We also have Can I Horn, which will simply display green text. When I have it enabled, it will display green text. I put it up here about whether or not Warhorn is currently active on your character or not. Really good for people who tank and heal, so you can see whether or not you need to Warhorn or not. We also have Champion Point Respec, which is what I use to make Champion Point profiles. Until ZOS adds something in the game like this, I use an add-on to do it. So it lets me save different CP profiles, one for PvP, one for PvE, so I'm able to use that to load and unload Champion Point setups. We also have Combat Metrics. That's your Primo DPS add-on. So basically it shows a live counter. I have mine at the top left. Whenever I do DPS to a target dummy or to a boss or to add packs, shows me how much damage I do in comparison to the rest of my group. And I could also bring up a detailed fight window to see more detailed stats about the specific fight. We also have Constellations, which actually works really well with Combat Metrics. You can import a Combat Metrics parse into Constellations, and Constellations will tell you how to optimize your blue CP for your specific setup to make sure that you get the most damage possible. So if you are especially newer to a class and don't know how to optimize your CP, this is a really good add-on. DarkUI is basically what gives my user interface my night mode appearance. Could not imagine living without this. It just makes the user interface for ESO much more appealing, so I really like this. We have Dolgubon's Lazy Writ Creator, which basically just creates and does writs at the click of a button. You walk up to a writ place, writ board, it will accept all the writs automatically. You go up to a crafting station, it'll say, you know, what settings do you want to use? Just click default, and you can just, with one click of a button, just do your writs. It is incredibly quick and makes doing writs very fast. We have Dressing Room, which is what I use for my gear and skill profiles. So as you can see, whenever I want to do PvP by solo, PvP in a group, PvE or VMA, I can just literally click set 1, set 2, set 4, set 3, whatever, and it will put all of that stuff on my character automatically. Makes switching between gear and skills very easy. We also have Greyskull, probably the add-on that I get asked most about these days, which is the add-on at the bottom right. It shows me my current spell damage or weapon damage at any given time. I mainly downloaded this from when I play my Stam DK because I have Fury on my Stam DK, so I use that as a way to see what my current weapon damage is, but I just have it active on all my DPS tunes. So It also puts really, really funny death hints when you die. So also you can get some comedy out of it. So mainly my weapon is spell damage add-on. We have Inventory Insight, which allows you to search your inventory across multiple characters. Really, really, really helpful if you do like a lot of builds and stuff. It's just incredibly helpful for finding your items. I can't tell you how many times I've lost items and I have no idea where they were, and I've just been logging in and out of characters like crazy. But now, because of Inventory Insight, I do not have to do that. We also have map pins. Map pins is basically, does exactly what it sounds like. It puts different types of filters and pins and stuff on my map, so I can see sky shards, lore books. We can do the Sigic time rifts, all that jazz. You can see that on your map. I know some people still use sky shards, lore books, and destinations, but you can just download map pins and it will do it all in one add-on. We also have Master Merchant, which is basically your big selling add-on. It basically will take in information from the different trading guilds that you are a part of and put a graph on an item showing what the items are selling for, how much you should sell it for, previous sell prices. Like it just gives you a ridiculous amount of detail for selling items, as well as shows you how, when you're buying stuff, what you should be paying for an item, and like what the market value is based off of trader data that you have. It's a really, really good add-on. We have Multicraft, which basically allows you to do exactly what it sounds like, create multiple of an item. So if you want to go create potions, you can create a ton of them with Multicraft. You don't have to sit there and spam your key to just create potions. Multicraft will do it for you. We have Piece of Candy, which is a ultimate tracking add-on. One of my guilds uses Sank's Ultimate Organizer. This is not, I don't think the current version is available on the Minion store, but I use this for one of my guilds. And then my other guild uses Piece of Candy, which is an ultimate tracking add-on. So if you run a PvP guild, I highly recommend Piece of Candy. We also have RaidBuffs and RaidNotifier. So RaidBuffs basically shows on my target. I use this when I'm tanking. It shows uptime on stuff like Alkosh, Crusher, Engulfing Flames, really, really helpful for tanking. And then RaidNotifier is basically your deadly boss mods for Elder Scrolls Online. Shows you information about specific boss encounters and add encounters inside of trials, things to watch out for, etc. It's really, really good add-on for if you do trials. We also have Untaunted, which shows the taunt timer on mobs. Very simple. Use that if you're tanking. Urich Skill Point Finder helps you find skill points throughout the world. Shows you what skill points you have to still collect, which ones you haven't collected yet. Really, really helpful. Votan's Keybinder helps you make keybinds account-wide instead of just character-specific. Very helpful if you play multiple characters. Votan's Minimap is the minimap I have on the right side of my screen. Really, really good. Votan Search Box puts a search bar on my bags. I have no idea how ESO still does not have this, so I have to download an add-on for it. And then finally, we have WeaponCharger, the most life-changing add-on ever. Basically, it automatically charges your weapons when they expire. You don't, you don't have to do the Dottz gaming mid-combat charge. WeaponCharger will take care of it for you. So that is all my add-ons, guys. If you want to download those, go ahead and use minion.gg to download those add-ons. But now, let's get into the specific settings of my user interface as well as all my add-ons, because I do get asked about them constantly. So my video settings, because I have been getting, for some reason, a lot of questions about them. I have anti-aliasing on, and then I use high, off, 1024, 50, 37, none, no bloom, on for everything else, and then turn off show additional ally effects. So this is my video settings. So if you want to see these, you can pause these here and take a look at them. In terms of gameplay, I have combat cues on. Custom colors is on. This is how I get my enemy colors to be bright pink instead of the dark red. So just turn custom colors on. I made the green brighter and I made it a nice bright pink. I turned off double tap to dodge because I use a single key. Ground targeting range lock on, prevent attacking innocents on. Quick cast ground abilities, turn this on if you use stuff like healing springs and stuff that puts an AoE on the ground that you have to specifically target. It makes this a lot easier, so turn on quick cast. Auto loot on, consolidate area loot on. Default soul gems per round purchased. Didn't do anything with the camera. Interface, I do prefer user ID. Everything else up here is turned on, and then I have my frame rate and latency turned on, put it up in the right corner, and locked so that it doesn't move. Nameplates, I turned on, left the settings default. Health bars on, left the settings default. And I didn't touch any of the stuff down here. Social, I turned off the profanity filter, and I turned off leaderboard notifications, so you don't have to constantly be notified whether or not your guild did something, so you can just turn that off. Combat, ability bar, always show. Attribute bars, always show. Resource numbers, number and percent. Active combat tips, automatic, ultimate number on. This is how I get my stuff to always show, as well as display the information on my bars. It's just under combat, this stuff right here. We also have combat text. This is my combat text. I don't have an add-on. I just use the default combat text. Literally just turn it on. You don't have to change anything else. For my buffs and debuffs, I do always show target debuffs only. Action duration reminder takes care of the rest of them, so I just need to keep track of my debuffs, and I used to use the default debuff tracker to do that. In terms of our add-on settings, for action duration reminder, I have account mod configuration turned on. Seconds to keep after timeout 5. Seconds of ignorable short timers 3. Shift bar enabled on. Move shift bar. So that is, for example, if I use volatile armor and swap bars, this right here is the shift bar. So by default, it's like right up against your ability bar, and if you swap bars, it like bounces your health bar up and down, and it tilts the shit out of me. So I just moved the shift bar and put it above my health bar. So just do that, and then when you're done, just click the little X on it, and it will go away. And that's basically all I have. Assist rapid writing, I have ability slot to use 5, and just everything else turned on. Champion point respec, no settings. Combat metrics, turn off, and Cyrodiil on. Everything, you can take a look right here. You can pause and take a look, but I don't think I touched any of these other settings. I will be going over my add-on packs as well at the end of this. DarkUI, just turned it to dark, didn't change anything. Dressing room, I use a 2x2. I just do the size of the window based off of the number of builds that I use. Don't forget that for many of these add-ons, you do need to set a keybind in your keybind. So if you're like, Dottz, where is this add-on? I don't see it. You need to go into your keybinds and make sure that you set a keybind to actually bring up the menu. Greyskull, I configure this based on my character, so I just have it as spell damage because I'm on a magic attune. Inventory insight, didn't change anything. Lazy Writ creator, you just use the default settings whenever you approach a crafting bench, so it does it automatically. RaidNotifier, you change this kind of based off the fight. So for the most part, you'll be changing stuff to, for example, if I go to Mauve Lorcage, you'll be changing things to full more often than not. But usually your raid leader will tell you whether or not you need to do that, or you'll notice very quickly, hey, I'm not seeing this stuff in my raid, so you just turn it to full and you'll be fine. And then finally, Urich skill point finder. I did not change anything with that. Votan's Minimap. I get asked about this 10,000 times a stream. Dottz, I can't move my Minimap. I don't know what to do. All you have to do is turn off lock position and size, and then you can move the Minimap around to your heart's content. So just turn this off. Unlock it. If it's locked, you can't touch it. If it's unlocked, you can. So otherwise, I have show in HUD on, show while looting on, show while mounted on, show in combat on, show at siege on, and then I pretty much left everything else default. In terms of other add-ons, like the Votan's Minimap pin sizes, I left default. Search box, I left default. I'm trying to think. For RaidBuffs and Untaunted here, actually, let me load up my tanking settings so that I could show you. By the way, Can I Horn and Constellations I also left default as well, but I'll load up my tanking settings here so I can show you guys those add-ons. Now, keep in mind, you guys are going to notice I did appear to skip over a lot of add-ons in my list. Those are the libraries, okay? And for some reason, all of these add-ons decided one day, hey, we need 10,000 libraries in order to run. So if you download all these add-ons and you load them in and it's like, these aren't working, just click this little arrow here and it tells you what dependencies you're missing. So you can look through your add-on list here and see if these dependencies exist. And if they do not, if you don't have them in your list, just download them from Minion and you will be good to go. But in terms of the other add-ons that I didn't cover, Can I Horn, like I said, I just left this default support range only. I turned on. We have RaidBuffs. Here we go, RaidBuffs. Turned on, down, full, on, and then that's it. And then where is Untaunted? Here we go. Untaunted, I did change a little bit. I did. I basically did a max rose 15, height 25, width 230. Only player effects on, track taunt on, everything else turn off. This add-on will track so much stuff, your screen will be filled with garbage. I only use this to track taunt, so that's the only thing I have on. Everything else is basically turned off. Master Merchant, you can pretty much kind of Like, I don't really have Piece of Candy super configured yet, and plus it kind of will depend based off your group. Same thing with Sanks, depends on your group. And then Constellations didn't have any configuration, as well as Master Merchant. Master Merchant, you could pretty much use it like right out of the box and it'll work perfectly fine. You don't really need to do too much. But in terms of my add-on packs, when I play in PvP, the only add-ons I use are Action Duration Reminder, the Addon Selector, so I can continue to select packs, Assisted Rapid Riding, Champion Point Respec, Dressing Room, Greyskull, Votan's Minimap, Search Box, and WeaponCharger. Everything else I turn off. For my Master Merchant, I just run my normal add-on pack, my normal PvE pack, but I turn on Master Merchant. When I do PvP with my guild, I have my normal PvP add-on pack, except I turn on Piece of Candy. I should be turning on Piece of Candy. Okay, so yeah, I need to enable libGPS, as well as something else. So where's libGPS? Anyway, you get the point. You see what I'm saying? I don't have this enabled, so I could find libGPS later, and I'll just turn that on and I'll be good to go. Then when I tank, I do Action Duration Reminder, Addon Selector, Advanced Weapon Tooltip. Basically, just like most add-ons, turn off combat metrics because I don't care about it. Turn off Constellations, turn off Greyskull, and then I just turn on stuff like RaidBuffs, RaidNotifier, more stuff like that. And then PvE. When I PvE, WeaponCharger, Votan Search Box, Minimap, Keybinder, Skill Point Finder, RaidNotifier, Multicraft, Map Pins, Inventory Insight, Greyskull, Dressing Room, Dolgubon's DarkUI, Combat Metrics, Champion Point Respec, Assist Rapid Riding, Advanced Member Tooltip, Addon Selector, Action Duration Reminder. So as you can see, I basically just kind of set up the various packs as I need them. Do not play your game with Master Merchant enabled, for all that is holy. Do not play your game with Master Merchant enabled. I see people playing with Master Merchant enabled, and I'm like, what are you doing? It is such a hog on your system just to use Master Merchant when you're going to buy and sell shit. Turn it on every now and then so that it can keep the prices updated. But otherwise, don't run this while you're trying to play the game. Your computer will run way worse than it could be. But that's it, guys. My updated add-on list for Elsweyr. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please leave a like on it. Any questions about my add-ons or my settings, please leave a comment below. And if you like this and want to see more great ESO content, please hit that sub button as well as hit the bell to keep notifications on. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by today. I very much appreciate it. As always, I'm Dottz Gaming, and I'll see you all in the next video.